Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Frank McClement. I'm the director of the Saratoga County Veterans Agency, and it is an honor to welcome you here to our monthly Honor Deceased Veterans ceremony. At this time, I'd ask you all please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance, led by our gentleman here from the Saratoga County American Legion, and remain standing for our prayer by our honorary chaplain and Korean War veteran, Chaplain Paul O'Keefe. United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Supreme Commander in heaven, once again, we thank you for giving us this opportunity to honor Saratoga County's precious deceased veteran of the month. For September, we are honoring Andrew G. Stine from the town of Northumberland. Andrew loved his country so much, he joined the United States Army twice. World War II from 1943 until it ended, 1946. Andrew Stine enjoyed civilian life for 1 year and rejoined his U.S. Army again in 1947. He was discharged in 1947, the year the Korean War started. Our Heavenly Father, as we lift our prayers to you, may we ask you that you embrace our dear veteran, Andrew G. Stine, in your eternal arms. And may Andrew find rest and peace in your heavenly kingdom, free from the struggles and the pain of this world. We trust in your promise of everlasting life and the hope of reunion one day. Surround Andrew with your light and love, and may he feel the warmth of your presence. And our Heavenly Father, as I close, I ask your comfort and peace for Andrew's family and friends. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaplain O'Keefe. Please be seated. As I mentioned, on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, we'd like to welcome you to our ceremony. We began this program in August of 1999 in Saratoga County. It is our highest honor that we can bestow upon a veteran. And since that time, we've honored some tremendous individuals from our county. This month's veteran is no exception to that. Andrew Stine from the town of Northumberland, a World War II veteran and beyond, which we'll hear. And just to let everybody know, this ceremony is live streamed. So on the county website, we do live stream it, and it is recorded. And people can go online and view it at a later date. So if you wanted to share that with family or friends. Andrew was born on June 22nd, 1923 in Saratoga Springs to his parents, Albert and Mildred. And he later graduated from White Plains High School in 1941 and attended NYU before entering the U.S. Army during the war. He entered into active duty on March 4th, 1943, serving as a Demolition Tech with the 1884th Engineer Aviation Battalion. The 1884th Engineer Aviation Battalion was activated in the midst of World War II, a time when the world stood at a crossroads. Their mission was clear: to build airfields that would enable the United States Army Air Corps to maintain air superiority across the Pacific theater. While others moved to the front lines with rifles, the men of the 1884th carried bulldozers, graders, dynamite, and yes, their rifles too. They were not only engineers, they were also soldiers, often working under fire to complete their vital work. From the steaming jungles of New Guinea to the volcanic ash of Iwo Jima and the blood-soaked beaches of Okinawa, the 1884th followed the path of war, building and rebuilding. In the harshest environments imaginable, they constructed airstrips, taxiways, barracks, supply depots, and fuel lines supporting B-24 bombers and beyond. They weren't just construction projects, they were lifelines for the Allied advance. Every runway they poured meant bombers could strike deep into enemy territory. Every supply depot they built meant more food, more medicine, more hope for the troops at the front. And through it all were men like Andrew, a proud member of the 1884th. He worked through stifling heat, tropical disease, monsoons, and a constant threat of enemy attack. He endured weeks without rest, months, even years without home, and yet remained steadfast. His tools were simple, his mission monumental. In 1945, the 1884th landed on Iwo Jima, one of the most brutal and pivotal battles of the war. While Marines fought to secure the island, the engineers of the 1884th were right behind them, clearing wreckage, grading land, and constructing runways under fire. These runways would soon become the emergency landing strips for hundreds of B-29 bombers returning from raids over Japan, saving countless lives. It is no exaggeration to say that the work of the 1884th shortened the war and saved both American and Japanese lives. But Andrew's service to his country didn't end there. In the years that followed, he once again answered the call. This time, he re-enlisted and was assigned to the 817th Engineer Aviation Battalion, where he served as a surveyor in the Army Engineer Corps. He brought with him not only his technical skill, but also the wisdom, resilience, and leadership forged in the crucible of World War II. As a surveyor, he played a vital role in planning and executing construction missions that supported America's post-war military readiness. His return to service speaks volume about his character, of a man who not only gave once, but continued to give, building the future with the same steady hands that helped win the war. Let us remember that his generation that gave not only their strength, but their spirit. They built more than runways and roads. They built the foundation of the peace and prosperity that we enjoy today. And as we stand here, free to gather, free to speak, free to live our lives in peace, let us remember that freedom is never free. It's built by hands in gloves holding blueprints, sometimes by hands in mud holding shovels, sometimes by hands trembling under fire, but always by hands like his, Andrew. And once we got some of the mementos and things that you'll see in the display case that was put together out front by our staff at the county historian's office, I came across a poem that Andrew wrote 50 years after the war that talked a little bit about his experience, and I'd like to read it and share it with you. And these are his words. The poem is titled Memory Makers. Here in my study, I put together models of planes I worked with in a time of adventure. Is it really 45 years ago? B-24, 29, toys these are. Yet they call up a white glare of runway and engines pulling a flight of silver bombers away. Alongside the green and broken jungle, sorry byproduct of war in that day. They recall ghosts of forgotten comrades who shared the intense living and the working at our trades. Soldier-destroyer builders we were then, carrying rifles and bayonet blades. For defending the slings we built to throw, those bombers at a distant enemy we did not know. Only we knew our whole purpose to be, making it possible for them to go. And that was written by Andrew Stine. And a great poem and some really interesting words. And I wonder what was going through his mind when he put together that book out there. And, you know, all the memories that must have come flooding back so many years later. But he certainly was clearly a really, really talented and intelligent individual. And we appreciate the opportunity to honor him here. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our town supervisor who nominated Andrew for this honor from the town of Northumberland, Supervisor Bill Peck.
Good afternoon, friends and family. And as Frank just gave a great beginning to the honoring of Andrew or Andy Stine, I had the pleasure of knowing Andy since I was a young man. And I just want to add, not only was he intelligent and obviously a good writer, but I found him to have a great sense of humor. And so he was always fun to be around. Now, the town of Northumberland passed a resolution, which I'll read here for you, on behalf of, to honor Andrew Gorham Stine. Whereas Andrew G. Stine was born June 22nd, 1923, in Saratoga Springs, to Albert and Mildred Gorham Stine. Whereas Andrew Stine graduated from White Plains High School in 1941. Whereas Andrew Stine attended NYU before enlisting. Andrew Stine joined the U.S. Army on March 4th, 1943, where he served as a demolition tech with the 1884th Engineer Aviation Battalion, with whom he served in the Ryukyus Campaign, which included the Battle of Okinawa. Andrew Stine bravely and proudly served his country during World War II and was honorably discharged on January 28, 1946. Whereas Andrew Stine re-enlisted into the U.S. Army on February 21st, 1947, with the Army Corps of Engineers. Andrew Stine served as a surveyor with the 117th Engineer Aviation Battalion until his honorable discharge on February 20th, 1950, and obtaining the rank of corporal with a specialty as a demolition tech. Whereas Andrew Stine earned many medals, the Good Conduct Medal with Clasp, the Asiatic-Pacific Campaign Medal with 2 service stars, American Campaign Medal, and World War II Victory Medal. Whereas Andrew Stine married Ethel Seaman on May 1st, 1948, in White Plains, New York, and moved to Riverside, California, until they purchased their farm in Schuylerville, New York, in 1955. Whereas Andrew G. and Ethel Stine had 3 children, Patricia, Marion, and James. Whereas Andrew Stine attended Skidmore College, graduating in 1981 and earned his BS degree. Whereas Andrew Stine was a self-employed surveyor for over 50 years. He worked 10 years with the National Park Service and 8 years with the Vermont Highway and Human Services Department. Whereas Andrew Stine received his private pilot license in 1950 and was a member of the 1884th Engineer Aviation Battalion veterans. Whereas Andrew Stine passed away on July 4th, 2019, at the House of the Good Shepherd in South Hills Falls, and buried in Leavenworth National Cemetery, Kansas. Therefore, be it resolved that the Northumberland Town Board honors Andrew G. Stine for his valiant service to our country, and be it further resolved that Andrew Stine is honored for his outstanding honesty, loyal integrity, his wealth of knowledge, and exceptional work ethic. And be it further resolved, the Northumberland Town Board hereby declares September 16th, 2025 as Andrew Gorham Stine Day in honor of his many contributions to our nation. So I'll just further go on that he was part of the World War II veterans, that often known as the greatest generation. And I think Frank did a nice job commenting that we enjoy the freedoms we do today because of your dad and the folks like him that fought in World War II and continue to serve thereafter. So with that, I'll give you the resolution so you can have for yourself and your siblings. And again, I'll just like to say Andrew Stine in Schuylerville lived on Beaver Street, had a nice farm there, which in the later years, that my family then rented his land and got to know Andy Stine quite well. And again, I mentioned the great humor he used to have, and he used to come for lunch at my father's house once in a while. And what a wonderful father you had. And there's people like him that have made this country and this county what it is today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. At this time, I'd like to introduce our chairman of the Board of Supervisors, our supervisor from the town of Clifton Park, Chairman Phil Barrett.
Thank you, Frank, and on behalf of all of my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, it's an honor to be here to celebrate the service and life of Andrew Stine. Truly remarkable gentleman, serving in some of the most dangerous and strategically important geographical locations during the war. I can't imagine what the war may have been like if those airfields were not secured, if they were not able to be used in the manner in which our military used them. And the incredible work that he did certainly was a huge, huge help to the U.S. winning and our allies winning that war. So from the bottom of my heart and my family, the Board of Supervisors, and the entire county, we are very grateful and thankful for the work he did. And then he took those special skills throughout his career for many years. But I'm sure his the most important part of the legacy for him are his children, his family, and the legacy that he left in Northumberland and Saratoga County that lives on today. So on behalf of my colleagues, I have a proclamation that we passed in Mr. Stine's honor, along with the World War II Service Medal. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One thing that I did fail to mention earlier, and I did want to just bring it up, I guess it's come to my attention just today that I think Andrew also served the county here for a brief period of time back in the 90s, working for our Office of Real Property. I think he did some work there for us as well. So he also served the community. So see, she forgot. He's done so many things that it's hard to keep track. But certainly, obviously, an impressive man and a man of service in the service to the county. And with that, I'd like to introduce our county elected officials, starting with our Saratoga County Clerk, Craig Hayner.
Thank you so much, Frank. It's truly an honor to be here today. Frank and his team doing a wonderful job of giving us a picture of what just some of that experience would have been like for Andrew and his comrades at the time. And I truly appreciate the reflections by Supervisor Peck and Supervisor Barrett, and just giving us a wonderful way of looking at just this level of service that he performed. There's no doubt that he is a man with many gifts and talents, and that he freely shared them with others. And he definitely had a love for the great outdoors, very evident. As a land surveyor for over 50 years, having his own business, I think that's one of those professions that people don't truly understand what it takes to be a surveyor, how important that work is to the very fabric of owning property. And I know we have many of records that he would have done in maps in our office, and obviously in real property too. He obviously volunteered with the Boy Scouts, Troop 13. He worked in National Park Service. But some of the greatest reflection I saw when I did a little research on him was actually in his obituary by some personal friends that wrote some information. And it said that his love for canoes, kayaks, compasses, and cameras, that would definitely be a reflection of his love for the outdoors. Obviously, he deeply loved his country, was proud of his military service, not only for the work that he did in World War II, but also re-enlisting. And we know that he was proud of his service too, because he's one of the first people to sign up for the Return to Favor program here at the county back in 2011 at its inception, which is a way to thank veterans for their service, not only by when they filed their DD-214s with our office, which we secure forever, digitize them, and they can get them anytime for free, but also a veterans discount program. But I know that, you know, any veteran, they don't go for that program because of the discounts. It's a great way for our county to honor. We've been doing it since 2011. We're very proud of that. And I looked in, and finally, I just want to speak a little bit about American exceptionalism, because his life is definitely a reflection of what American exceptionalism is all about, being deeply rooted in the fabric of our nation, principles that Andrew was all about, as evidenced by his example, choosing service to others over self, demonstrating tremendous courage in the face of great danger for a cause greater than oneself, a willingness to share their God-given talents with others that build the foundation for strong communities in our country, and passing on a lasting legacy for all of us to do the same in our time. So with that, I've written a special commemoration for you, Patricia, and the family, and I'd like to share that with you now, and thank you again for letting us honor him today.
Thank you, sir. I now introduce our Saratoga County Acting District Attorney, Jennifer Buckley.
Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here, as everyone else has mentioned today. Your father's generation is a special generation to me because it is my grandparents' generation, the generation of my great uncles who served, and my grandfather who served. And I always read these biographies and think about being a young person and being sent across the globe to a place you've never been to, and to just go into service and work on behalf of others and work to keep your fellow soldiers safe. And it is an incredible sacrifice. And when I looked at the day he passed away, which was July 4th, I thought that's the day we celebrate our independence and we give gratitude for the freedoms we have. And it seems to me that that in some ways was fitting to recognize the sacrifice and the service that your father gave to this country. I also took note of the fact that he worked with the Boy Scouts. And I thought, you couldn't have a better role model to work with children than someone who has served his community and is able to pass on those lessons of service and respect. So on behalf of the Saratoga County District Attorney's Office, thank you for sharing your father's story with us, and we have a certificate for you and your family to recognize his service. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Assemblywoman Carrie Warner couldn't be here. She represents the 113th Assembly District, but she has sent a representative, Deirdre Ladd.
Thank you. It is an absolute privilege to be here today on behalf of Assemblywoman Carrie Warner. These ceremonies give me a wonderful opportunity to learn about a great citizen of our country and someone who lived right here in our own backyard. It is a privilege to not just read about a person's impressive accomplishments and awards, but to really begin to understand the deeper story behind the statistics and the accolades. I am truly honored to have the opportunity to reflect upon the life of Andrew G. Stine. Andrew was clearly a courageous, hardworking, resilient, and determined man who loved his country and this vast land. In fact, it seems the love of land was a consistent theme, a strong thread that was woven into the fabric of his life. In fact, while I read Andrew's biography, all I kept hearing in my head was the words to the song, "This Land Is Your Land." As someone who enlisted in the U.S. Army not once but twice, who was an Army engineer that was able to build and repair airfields in a hostile area during a war, who was a land surveyor for over a half a century, a husband for 50 years, a father of 3 children, a National Park serviceman for over a decade, and a Boy Scout volunteer to boot, Andrew's life was certainly exemplary, grounded, and extremely impactful. He clearly left a positive legacy for his family and his friends, and even strangers like me. So thank you for sharing his memory with us today. And on behalf of Assemblywoman Warner, I would just like to read the final statements of a citation for you. Whereas the state of New York and the people of the 113th Assembly District are proud to recognize meaningful contributions of our community, and whereas a member of a remarkable generation, Andrew passed away on July 4th, 2019, coincidentally a day that celebrates the birth of our country and its founding principles of liberty and equality for all, the same principles Andrew clearly fought for and lived by. And whereas a great state is only as great as its people and those brave individuals who served their country, worked hard, volunteered their time, and became pillars of their family and community, will forever be remembered. Now therefore be it proclaimed on behalf of Assemblywoman Carrie Warner, I hereby recognize Andrew G. Stine, a Saratoga County Veteran Service Agency honoree for this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Deirdre. I'd now like to introduce our senator from the 44th Senate District, Senator Jim Tedisco.
Well, one thing is sure for you, the Andrew Stine family, is you're going to have to build a bigger trophy case, okay, and find a large wall, or maybe build another wall or another room, because they're well deserved, all these accolades today. I love being at these events and honoring what I define as the best, the brightest, most courageous and compassionate fighting force for good, and the men and women of that force, the United States Armed Forces, past, present, and future. And when you think about jobs, occupations, I can't think that being a part of our armed forces is a job or an occupation. I'd have to call it a gift for humanity, for freedom, and for liberty. And I'm honored to be here today, especially because we're at a heightened level right now. And Andrew Stine gave us that gift. Usually, when someone enlists in the armed forces, they know they're putting their life on the line. Whether there's war, there's not war, conflict can break out at any time around the world. There's those who want totalitarianism. They want to terrorize individuals, Americans, freedom and liberty, wherever it is. So it's really a gift when individuals enlist. And usually when I think they get done, they come back, they go, I made it. Well, Andrew Stine had to go twice. He enlisted once, and then he enlisted again. And that's a wonderful thing. I'm sure there are others who have done that, maybe even done it 3 or 4 times. But he was a patriot, obviously. And today, it's always important to be here and to stand up and send the message out there for those people, unfortunately, domestically and around the world, who want to hinder why we're the greatest nation in the world. That is because, and I often say this, we can live freedom and liberty at the highest level. Everybody's got it. You know that. They're born into it. I say this often. No man or woman give us the freedoms and liberties we have in this nation or around the world. We get to live them from the veterans you see here today, their colleagues, Andrew Stine, willing, and many of them did lose their life, willing to put their lives on the line and make that particular sacrifice. Today, I feel it's heightened even more that we meet like this and talk about our rights in the Declaration of Independence and the individuals who defended them. We just had 9/11. And we know those individuals haven't gone away. We know they still exist around the world. We know they exist in our country. We know they exist in New York. Domestic violence here exists, and we have to be vigilant for that. And it's heightened today because we saluted 9/11, but now it's 9/10 also, where individuals take words and turn them into bullets and become the judge, the jury, and the executioner. It's the veterans who are sitting here. It's Andrew Stine who said that will not stand in the United States of America, in the world we're a part of. Wherever it rears its head, whether it's domestic or around the world, Andrew Stine and the men and women of our armed forces, he led the way. he was a part of that gift. So he had many occupations. He came back and served many jobs. But at the height of it all, he was the man, part of the armed forces, who gave us the opportunity for me to stand here, for us to be elected officials, to people to use their First Amendment rights and know that if somebody uses that force that they use, it won't deter us. They can blow up buildings. They can harm honest, law-abiding citizens. But the Andrew Stines and our veterans will continue to keep us being able to live those freedoms and liberties. They can't destroy an idea. And Andrew knew what that idea was, and he served to protect it every single day. What I can do from the New York State Senate, the highest award we have, and I'm glad it was completed, they have to review the history and the biography of the individuals who are put forth as an application for what's called the Liberty Medal. It's the highest honor and award we can present posthumously to an individual. Got a citation with it. It has to be passed unanimously by the New York State Senate. So he was a special person that was supported unanimously. And now I'd like to present to you, if I could, the highest award that we have from the New York State Senate for the man who was part of the group that keeps us our freedom and our liberty. God bless Andrew Stine.
Thank you, Senator. I'd like to now introduce Reed Cronus. Reed Cronus is representing Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, who represents the 21st Congressional District. She could not be with us today, unfortunately, but Reed has a special presentation to make.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm very honored to be here on behalf of the Congresswoman. I want to thank Frank and his staff for setting these up every month and allowing us to honor a veteran. I took a different way here today, which I regretted immediately, regardless of the fact that I had GPS. And it just reminded me of the fact that a whole generation of Americans that were younger than me, which is weirder to say every day now, that left home, left the comforts of home and family to defend our freedoms. And I just want to say directly to Andrew, thank you very much for your service. Our country, our county here, and our community is a better place because of men just like him and because of him. I want to thank the family for allowing us to honor and remember him today as well. To add to your pile of nifty gifties, I have here a couple of things. The first is something that I already showed you, but it is a congressional record. It honors the entirety of Andrew's life, and it will be in the halls of Congress forever. I also have a flag that has been flown over the Capitol in honor of Andrew. So we're here to present both of these today. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here today, and I especially want to thank the family.
Thank you, Chaplain O'Keefe. You may be seated again. As mentioned, if you couldn't hear it, and for those that might be watching online or later, the gentlemen are walking outside with the flag. We are going to finish up inside here. We'll move out front for a flag raising ceremony. That flag will fly here at the county for 30 days in honor of Andrew Stine, at which time we will take it down and put it in a nice case and return it to you. We do have one final presentation. But before we do that, I just want to take a moment while I'm remembering to do so, and thank everybody that helps us put the program on. It's not just myself, and it's certainly not just myself and not just my department, although my team does a bulk of the work on this. But we get a lot of help from Therese Conley and Bridget Ryder here in the Board of Supervisors office. Our buildings and grounds team, as well as our county attorney, public relations, Ann Van Vorst is here, the clerk's office. I mentioned that nice display case that's put together by our county historian, Lauren Roberts, who's become somewhat famous for her efforts in honoring the 250th anniversary of the battles of Saratoga and the Revolutionary War. And Lauren's doing a great job with that. And you're going to hear from her in a minute. And my team, our peer program coordinator back there, Aaron Cassidy, wave, say hello, Aaron. And I know you've talked a lot to Megan Cutbush. Megan does a lot of the legwork for this ceremony, so great job. And all programs and efforts at a county level here in Saratoga County are overseen by a committee of supervisors of the Board of Supervisors. Not every county has this or does it this way, but we do. We've had a great chairman the last couple of years. We're usually, Chairman Barrett and myself are usually razzing him about his service in the Navy. We'll still do that. He's a Navy vet, Supervisor Ian Murray. But one thing I did notice is Andrew had clearly had an affinity for the Navy, because the nature of his time in World War II, and specifically the Pacific, he spent a lot of time on Navy ships, and I saw some mementos and things that he had collected, obviously from his naval counterparts. So I guess today what I'm saying is we'll give Supervisor Murray a pass on the Navy thing. But he does have a final presentation to make, and I would like to introduce him now. Supervisor Ian Murray from the town of Saratoga.
You know, privately, he always refers to us as the Uber driver in the military. So, but what a great honor it is to be the chairman of the Veterans Committee and work with Director Frank McClement and also his great staff with Megan, Aaron, and Tamim. I don't think Tamim is here today, but what a great job those folks do making this happen every week and all throughout the month. If you could hear the phone calls that they get from other veterans that need help and things like that, it's truly amazing the work that they do there, and it's great. And then to also learn about such great veterans that we have here in Saratoga County that served all of our communities and different organizations throughout. So with that said, what a great day, what a great ceremony to honor Mr. Stine. And I offer up the following proclamation. The United States of America honors the memory of Andrew G. Stine. This certificate is awarded by a grateful nation in recognition of the devoted and selfless consecration to the service of our country and the armed forces of the United States. Signed, President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, Supervisor. We have one final piece to the ceremony inside, and interestingly enough, this was something that was brought to us from another World War II veteran who served in the Pacific Theater He was a former supervisor from the city of Mechanicville, Chris Scambotti, and he also served in the Navy as well. And he was a great man, but he thought it would be fitting if we added the singing of Amazing Grace to the ceremony. Fortunately for you, Lauren Roberts is here today. She has a much better voice than I do, and she is going to come up and lead us. But if you'd like to join us, please stand, and the words are on the back of the program.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. This concludes the inside portion of our ceremony. I would just ask all in attendance to just file outside and line up along that front sidewalk for your family and friends. If you could just stick around for 1 second, we're going to take a couple of photographs with our elected officials here, and then we'll all move outside for our flag raising ceremony. Thank you. Day, and we had a great honoree this month, so thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to honor your dad. Clearly he must have been a tremendous individual. At this time, I'd ask you all bow your heads for our closing prayer by Chaplain O'Keefe.
Our Heavenly Father, dismiss us with your blessing as we depart from our monthly Saratoga County Deceased Veterans Ceremony. As we leave faith, the Spirit goes with us. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Detail, cut. Mark, mark. Ready. Hey. Mark. 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 Precinct. Mark.
This concludes our ceremony. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you to all our elected officials, and most importantly, thank you to the family of Mr. Stine for allowing us this great opportunity. And have a great day. Thank you.